Hey everyone, it's your host Marcus Norman of the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. And today we have an incredible speaker coming to the stage, a true star. I am fanboying. Is that a thing? I have Heather Udo. She's the CEO and founder of Shoppable. She is an inventor of four US patents for universal checkout technology, and a true visionary entrepreneur who's leading and been leading in the e-commerce space and media industry with over 15 years of experience in creating and scaling innovative digital solutions. This woman is absolutely profound, and you may have heard about it, Shoppable. Heather won the 2013 Women in Digital Award from L'Oreal, and she was named one of the 10 most powerful millennials in Manhattan. Oh, I love New York. And she's here today on the Gentleman Style Podcast stage to share nuggets, share wisdom, and share advice, and hopefully spill some tea in how she's achieved such massive success. So help me welcome. I can't hold this phenom of a woman back. Help me welcome to the stage the incredible Miss Heather Udo. Welcome to the Gentleman Style Podcast stage, man.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Marcus.
Absolutely. It is a true honor to have you on the show today. You look fabulous. Love the hair.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I wanna take the time to start kind of where it all began. You have been pioneering. You have been a creative, true entrepreneur. You've been doing this since the age of 11. What kicked it off for you? What ignited the passion? And now you have superseded all of that and surpassed yourself 10 times over. But why at 11? Can you speak to the significance that sets you on the path that has led you to who you are today, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess we're going way back at 11. So what really started me on this journey, I think, was a lot about my parents and how they spoke to me about money at an early age, and how they really didn't allow us. We didn't get big allowances. I think we were getting maybe 25 cents a week, and I grew up on a hobby farm with a lot of chores. So we were not making a lot of money. But what my parents said was, and I've tried to kind of instill a similar thing to my children now, but is, that you're going to get a certain amount of money for the work that you're doing at that age, chores, essentially. And if there's a difference between the amount of money that you have after you've been saving it and what you want to do with your money, then you have to come up with some other way that you can earn additional income. And, at 11 years old, there's not a lot of options. So I kind of started creating, looking for opportunities. And I think I mentioned very briefly, I grew up in the country. So I had one neighbor. So there, the idea of a lemonade stand didn't fly because we had there were no customers out there. So I had to kind of come up with some unique ideas to generate that extra income.
Tell us, was mom and dad entrepreneurs? Where did the entrepreneurial bug come from? Great job, mom and dad. Great job, mom and dad, with pushing you to this for self-discovery is what I'm hearing. Self-discovery and being the creative that you are, and allowing you the flexibility to think. But were mom and dad entrepreneurs? Is that where it came from?
My dad he's a lawyer first, but entrepreneur second, I would say. So he ended up starting his own practice after being in law for a while. So he is entrepreneurial in that sense. My mom's a social worker, so not an entrepreneur herself. So I would say it's maybe a little bit more from my dad's side.
Absolutely. Well, I'm still giving mom and dad their flowers. Sure. That's huge. Sure. Because I don't think that's talked about enough. I don't think it's talked about or shared enough that the lessons we learn shape us into who we are today.
Yeah.
And so those little nuggets, can you share at 11 years old, what did that experience teach you about business? Can you talk to that?
Yeah, so it actually taught me about arbitrage, which I didn't even know that was a word at the time. But what I learned about arbitrage, I would say, and about looking for opportunities, because there's so many different opportunities around all of us that, when you're looking for them, they're there. And then you have to kind of evaluate, is it a good opportunity? And is it something that you can do, and test relatively, potentially free or relatively inexpensively and quickly. So like one of the ideas that I had was, um, basically I noticed I had gone to a gift shop, and this is back in early 90s. So during the Beanie Baby craze, I didn't know anything about it. But I gone in a gift shop and saw Beanie Babies and saw that they were $5 or something. And then I went back home, and I went on our, family computer back when, you had a family computer, and went on AOL, came across eBay. So I ended up on eBay, and I saw that some of those same Beanie Babies that I just saw in the store that day were selling online for $20, $30, $100. And I thought, this makes no sense. And people were paying that, but I could go down the street and buy it for 5. So I asked my parents to drive me back to the store, and I bought a couple of the Beanie Babies, and I listed them for sale, and they sold, and I immediately made some money, and I thought, okay, I can do a little bit more of this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to, and that's key, right? That's a learning lesson. Were your parents pushing you to save? Were they pushing you to invest? It sounds like your parents wanted you to be very well versed with
Yeah.
money. They wanted you to understand the full scope of money.
They did. They did. Yeah, they brought me to the bank to set up a savings account at a young age. I remember getting my checkbook, which I never wrote a check, but got the checkbook just in case I needed it. And but yeah, they helped us set up a savings account, and I would say that they encouraged us to save. And one other thing that I really I think was important too is they really gave us agency over any money that we made, and were like, that's your decision, like how you spend your money. So there were a couple times when I wanted to do something and my parents said no. And I said, what if I have enough money on my own to do it? And they said, well, it's your money, so I can't tell you how to spend it. So it kind of, that also instilled like a lesson of that money kind of can unlock opportunities, and it can unlock other options when you have that agency to make those decisions too.
I love this. I love this. I want to step a little bit in time here. You have a diverse education, and I think I've been considering going back to school for this specialty. But you have an education. Your education is at University of San Francisco and the London School of Economics. How did that influence, right? Or fast forwarding a little bit, how did that influence your entrepreneurial mindset? Because those are two different branches, economics and then business. Like can you speak to how did that influence your mindset there?
Yeah, when I got to San Francisco, obviously San Francisco is really kind of the heart of technology and innovation globally. So being able to go to school in San Francisco, and my entrepreneurship teacher, I took an entrepreneurship class there. My teacher, um, our professor, was also working at Microsoft, like as his day job, and kind of teaching part-time entrepreneurship too. So those types of things really brought me kind of closer to specifically the tech community, and being around a lot of entrepreneurs there, and so many conversations surrounding tech. So as I was going through college there, I started doing an internship in the tech community, and I interned for a serial entrepreneur who, at the acquiring company that had acquired his first company, and through some conversations with him, like that opened up a door. And I asked him, I said, someday I want to start my own business. Do you mind, can I ask you a few questions? And he said, sure, yeah, let's chat. So I started talking to him, and then he divulged that he was getting ready to start a second business. And because I was an intern, I was just working there for the summer. I wasn't officially like hired full time at the other company. So we talked a little bit more, and he said, why don't you come, when you graduate, why don't you come work for me full time? And so that really opened up the door for me to be able to join a tech startup. I actually started working before I officially graduated, because I was just helping with a lot of research and things since it was the very beginning. But it really allowed me to get very deep into technology and understand how tech businesses are built. Um, you know, all the different key players. I learned a lot about, product and engineering and everything that I really needed to be able to later start Shoppable. So I'd say that's a lot of the key elements that I took away from San Francisco, not to mention like the emphasis and on funding and venture capital and all of those things that come from there, and a lot of great contacts, a lot of great friends and things in the tech community from San Francisco, I'd say.
Absolutely. How did your background in economics feed into you building your empire in tech and Shoppable and all the Fortune 500 companies that seek you out? How has economics played into how you run your business?
Yeah, I think that side of it and my experience in London is, I would say, a little bit more on it's more on like the actual like business operations and strategy than San Francisco, which is more like product focused and tech focused. I'd say that's probably the biggest strategy, biggest difference. But going to school in London also, uh, it was a completely different educational experience than San Francisco was. I would say San Francisco was it felt more laid back. London School of Economics was absolutely not laid back. It was very strict. It was very difficult, but in a good way. It was very challenging, and I loved that about the education there, and the people that were drawn to London and to that school. Were so ambitious, and I just felt like, okay, these are the people I want to be around. It felt like everyone was so much smarter than me, but that's who you want to surround yourself with, because they're going to push you to be better. And it was it was a different kind of, they're two similar experiences two business experiences that helped me with growing, building and growing my business eventually, but kind of two sides to the same coin.
Absolutely. So you were pushed. Did you ever feel that you weren't capable, or did you have people either at San Francisco or London on both sides push you and encourage you and mentor you?
Yeah, I would say I probably, because I spent a lot more time in San Francisco, I have more friends and mentors and contacts in San Francisco, but for sure on both sides. I mean, I had some friends that I went to school with in London that wanted to invest in my business, but I really was like, I didn't want to muddle friendship and money and business, so I tried to avoid that and turn down some of those friends, um but yeah, it kind of was a little bit, sorry, I lost the question, but it was a little bit different between the two.
You're good. You're absolutely good. This is incredible. Miss Heather Udo, spilling the tea on Gentleman Style Podcast Show. And we're gonna get to talking about Shoppable, but I want to talk about the pressures
Hmm.
of that you face, because I think CEOs, I think it looks glamorous, right? To a young woman looking at you, she sees, she might think, I can't do that. I'm sure there may be points in your life like, how could I ever achieve this thing? You've been recognized as one of the most powerful millennials in Manhattan and a tech guru changing the luxury game. How do you handle that pressure of such accolades? Because that's not easy. And again, the young girl that looks up to you, she may see, I can't do that. How do you handle that pressure?
Yeah. So one thing that I think is so important to do as entrepreneurs that get a spotlight is that we're honest that there is a lot of pressure. Like, you're absolutely right. There is a lot of pressure, and um, building something from nothing is hard. Maybe a tiny, tiny less than 1% of the time, someone it's actually easy, but generally speaking, if someone says it's easy, they're lying, because it is difficult, but it is, it's rewarding when you're someone that works really, really hard, and it's really rewarding to be able to see your hard work come to fruition. So when you're an entrepreneur, you're building a business from nothing. Day one, you start, you've got nothing, and you've got nothing to lose. So, it's really it's about focusing on the foundation and those building blocks one at a time, and being being able to have that crystal clear clarity of where you want to take the business, and then focusing on one block at a time to get your vision there. But there's definitely pressure of various types that you're gonna experience if you become an entrepreneur, and it's something that you do have to learn to be able to handle the stress. You have to learn to be able to try not to let it get to you, and be really focused on solutions, not on problems. That would be some of the advice that I would get, because if you focus on the problem, you'll never get over it. You can spend forever dwelling in the issues that you have, but it's not going to help you. It's not going to solve anything. So whenever there's an issue, my approach is, let's identify the issue, and identifying what the problem is 50% of solving it. So now you know what you need to solve. And then you focus on solutions and what are the different ways that we can solve this problem. And when you get, whether it's just you or you have a leadership team or you've got a couple people on your team, you get the right people together to discuss possible solutions to that problem. There's always a way through. There's always a way through. It doesn't matter how low that day is or how big that problem seems. There is always a way through. You just have to find it.
This is necessary. This is absolutely necessary. We talked about mom and dad in the beginning. We talked about how mom and dad nurtured the seeds in you, and they didn't hold you back when you discovered the way through and said, "Well, it's my money. Can I go buy the thing?" And they said, "Well, we can't stop you. It's your money." I want to talk. We talked about mom and dad. I want to talk about now, who personally and business. Who is your core team when you first started the idea to launch Shoppable? Who was someone that was really supportive of you in that beginning? What kept you grounded in family wise? And then who are your core team members in business? Because a business owner, is it my sales leader? Is it my CFO? Is it my bookkeeper, my accountant? So on both sides, who are the
Yeah.
core members that motivated you and helped you and have those council moments with you?
Yeah. When I first started it, I'd say there's really two people that stand out. The first one being my parents. And my mom is my biggest cheerleader. She's always going to support whatever I'm doing, even if she doesn't understand what I'm doing technically, because she's like, it's maybe a little complicated. Doesn't matter. She's going to support it and give me the positive energy that I need in that level of support. My dad is another big supporter, but he's more the pragmatic approach. So when I need, when I need someone where I'm like, I kind of need to level set, and I want someone to be direct with me and say, look, that's crazy, or no, you're of sound mind. You should do this or try that. My dad would be someone that I would have those types of conversations with. Like, for example, I started Shoppable when I was still living in San Francisco, and I came out to New York on a business trip to meet with a lot of the big retailers that are based out here. And I got more done in 2 days visiting New York than I had gotten done in the last 6 months because I was able to get in front of these retailers. And on the second day, I thought, I'm like, I think I need to move to New York. So I called my dad and I said, is this crazy? I just started this business 6 months ago. I've got one contractor employee in San Francisco, but is it crazy that I quit my job in 2010. So there was still a lot of people being laid off after the 2008 crisis. And I quit my high paying corporate job to launch my own business. And I'm like, now I want to move to the most expensive city in the country. Is this crazy?
Oh.
So I'm waiting for my dad to be like, you need to calm down. And and that might be like, you're moving too fast. Like maybe you should do this. And he didn't surprise me, but he was like, no, it sounds like you absolutely need to be in New York. So he supported that. And I would say the other person that's been really impactful is the serial entrepreneur who I worked with at his first company, post-acquisition. And then I worked at his second company and was on the founding team. And, learning, I like to say that I got my MBA from him and the other two execs at that business, because I learned so much watching him build it and helping it, because I joined when that business was a PowerPoint. So it was an idea on paper, nothing had come to fruition, but I learned everything from him. And he's been a great mentor and friend that has helped me along my journey when I have more like traditional like entrepreneurship questions. How do I get through this? How do I approach this? What do you think about that? He's someone that's been really helpful. And it is helpful to have someone like that in your life that has been there before you, because it can really help you kind of jump over some potential hurdles and also help you, as I mentioned before, help you see the path through something because they've been there before.
Absolutely. Would you ever advise someone to skip over mentorship or skip over those networks and
No.
just go at it alone?
I mean, you can build, you absolutely can. But if you have the opportunity to have a mentor or a coach or advisor or someone like that, I highly recommend it, because it's going to save you time, a lot of time. It can save you years, and time is money. So it's going to save you a lot of money too.
So
Because
can you explain to the audience how that saves me money? Because your time is expensive. Your mind, your brain is expensive, and it's earned that number. So to the entrepreneur thinking, I can't afford a mentor. How is that saving them time? Can you break that down a little bit more?
yeah, so because that if you have the right mentor, that person has been where you want to go. So that means, a lot, even if a business is different, doesn't matter like, what the business is, there's a lot of similarities, that each entrepreneur is going to go through. It doesn't matter if you're like selling, software like I'm doing, or you're, I don't know, selling air conditioners.
Yeah.
Or you're an accountant, or you've got a service-based business. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of similarities. Now, that advisor or that mentor is going to be able to tell you, how to handle a certain situation, the beginning stages. Okay, make sure you get these things in line. Make sure that you set up contracts for this process. Make sure, like, for example, I'm helping some other entrepreneurs, and one thing that is critical in tech is that you need, and I'm not a lawyer, so I'll put that out there, but you need something called like an assignment of invention in all of your contracts. And what that does is make sure that your anyone working for you, whether it's a contractor or employee, that work that they produce is assigned to your business, and then your business owns that work. If you don't do that, it could, I talked to someone the other day, it literally cost her over $1 million.
Mm.
Because she didn't put the right stuff in a contract. I didn't know her then. Someone referred her to me more recently, and she spent over $1 million on some software that she built out over a couple of years. Had a business partner or developer that decided to screw her over on it and said, you don't actually own this. I do. And you like basically pay me more if you want to own it now. But meanwhile, she'd already paid him to develop it and, was under the impression like, wait a minute, this is for my business, but she didn't have the right thing. So that's an extreme example, but it was 2 years when I was talking to her, she said it was about 2 years and about $1 million. And she's like, I just feel like I have to start from scratch because otherwise I'm going to go to a legal battle with this guy. And that's more time and money delayed before she could actually be back to building her business. So that's a very extreme example, but there's a lot of examples like that.
No, that's a great example because that was kind of, I think she's been reading my cheat sheet, y'all. That was kind of my next question. How do you balance, how do you encourage innovation? Because you are tech and technology is changing. It's changing in the next 10 seconds. It's going to change. It's going to evolve. It's going to be something new. And you want to not stagnate your team and your company by stagnating innovation. And so that sounds like a way that I can encourage innovation. I can encourage the people who work with me and work for me to create and use that mind, that great mind of theirs, but also still protect the company in that way.
Yeah, Marcus, you're absolutely right. Because if you have the proper clauses and paperwork, I feel like I'm advertising legal services now.
This is not a legal channel. Go seek your own legal advice, y'all.
Thank you. But if you have that in place, then yes, that anything that they're creating is assigned to your business. And I do think that it's really important to encourage innovation within your company, big or small. And I've actually been invited at some larger corporations to go speak like at Citibank and things like that about innovation and kind of helping people think about starting innovate, being more innovative in their day-to-day jobs too. So I think it's really important that you foster that environment at any type of business, because especially now with AI, things are moving so quickly. And if you're not thinking about innovation, if you're not thinking about where your industry might go, where your business might go, I don't mean to be like jumping on like the bandwagon of scaring people, but you could be left behind because people could be innovating. The innovation could be going away from how your business is done today. It could be completely changed. People might still need that service or they still need that product, but the way that they need it is changed, or the export of what you're doing is different, or the way to get it to them is different, because everything's going to, through a chat bot, or something else, it could be completely changed. So you've got to think ahead. And some advice that I would have about that too, if I could add, is that it's you really want to encourage every single person at, your business, or if you're a manager on your team, to contribute their ideas and to welcome those ideas and to create an environment where you are respecting everybody's ideas and you're not telling people to like stay in a lane. Because I will tell you, some of the best marketing ideas have come from engineers. And my COO is coming up with ideas to solve engineering problems all the time. It's crazy. Like our engineers joke that he's like, on the weekends, he must be coding or something, because they're like, the way his brain thinks, he just comes up with these ideas and they're like, that's it. Let's look into that. But I try to really encourage that. And then we do usually like a quarterly offsite. And we allow people to really speak openly and contribute ideas, including outside your lane, so that people don't feel like, oh, well, I'm, in finance, I shouldn't be commenting on product, because you don't want to do that. Everyone else they have their slice of the pie, and you want them to feel open about sharing those ideas so that it can all come together and make it bigger.
You remind me of something that I learned about Jeff Bezos when he was running Amazon, when he was the CEO of Amazon, is that, hey, no matter where the idea comes from, we're going to back it. We're going to get behind this individual. We're going to get behind this idea, even if you don't agree. Hey, you may disagree with it, and we will work through that. But in the meantime, we're going to support this idea and we're going to move forward because I can see it. If I'm in engineering, I may not support something that the marketing team wants to do or a direction they want to go. And so, is that something you encourage? Say, listen, I don't agree with this, but we're going to back it. Is that something you believe in?
Yeah, yeah, I think it is. I think it is. We do try to explain why we're doing things, and in some and the our at Shoppable, our engineering team likes to understand the business cases for things, and they like to understand that context. So that it helps them kind of understand, okay, this is where we're going and this is how this piece fits in. So part of usually, I think it's very rare where someone's like, in my experience, where someone's not backing something. I would say off, like if that is, we need, like, it's usually there's something missing where that person like might not understand a piece of the business. But part of it is also making sure that everybody is clear. This is the vision. This is where we're going. And here's where we are today. And then they can kind of start to see like, oh, okay, now I see where it fits in. And uh, and then that kind of helps people understand like why we're doing what we're doing. But yes, sometimes not everybody's gonna always agree. That
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I know I'm not telling the big boss lady, Miss Heather, I disagree with an idea. I'm sure. Speaking of big boss is a boss. We are going to go to a quick commercial break. You guys, we got to pay some bills, y'all. Pay some bills. That's what we do here. We got sponsors to support. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Hey guys, this is your boy Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. And we are here in Patrick Henry Mall, Newport News, Virginia. We're actually here for something unique just inside. Something new, brand new that we want to explore together. You guys ready? All right, here we go. Here we go. Hey, boss. Heard you are an athlete, man. See you at the mall every day. We are at Patrick Henry Mall, living up, and we are talking about CBD. But first off, the normal thing that we all deal with is joint pain, back pain, suffer from everything.
Neck pain too.
Neck pain? You got some neck pain?
All the time, man. I'm getting up in age, you know what I'm saying? We're not young no more.
I'm with you. I'm totally with you. Bruh, CBD helps with that exact same thing. Neck pain, back pain, joint pain, all the pains, everywhere pain, right? And so that's what CBD does. That's what we're here to help you and me do. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
All right.
CBD is one of the most powerful cannabinoids because all it's focused on is the health and wellness. We're talking helping people with anxiety, depression, insomnia, sleep deprivation, all provided. CBD works with the natural mechanics of your body without the crazy side effects of Western medicine. So these products are here to actually align your body and get it back right so we can actually have a better quality of life. And that's what CBD does.
Baby Gear Services DMV specializes in high-quality baby gear rentals in the Maryland and DC metro area. We have a wide range of baby gear items for rent, including wooden cribs, car seats, high chairs, and more. We also offer seasonal specials and free delivery. Our prices are very versatile to cover every budget. Wooden cribs start at $17 a day, high chairs and even car seats start at $5 a day. Check out our website, www.bgsdmv.com.
We are back to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. And today we have the incredible Miss Heather Udo, CEO, founder, innovator, entrepreneur, philanthropist. Dare I say, philanthropist? And she's been changing the world of e-commerce and tech for years. If you missed any of what she's been laying down, she's been spilling knowledge on how she got started, family, how they've inspired her team, her core team members, how she inspires innovation amongst her teams as well as worldwide. If you missed any of that, go back, scroll back, and check her out. You can find her on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Ghana Radio, Facebook business page, LinkedIn, YouTube, and anywhere you get your podcast, even on Audible. And you can find her here today on Gentleman Style Podcast, Spilling the Tea. Miss Heather, I have been holding back. I want to dive into the sauce of what inspired Shoppable, because Shoppable has been changing the industry. And you have, again, your company and you have been licensing and reaching out and connecting with so many different and serving and helping so many businesses, Fortune 500 companies for years. But what was the turning point? Was it the time that you spent at school? Was it the time you spent working with other partnerships, that core partnership that you had in the beginning with that gentleman who was originally before startup and then brought you on board to his company? When did the rocket, this is not an Elon Musk pun, but when did the rocket take off and the turning point take off for you?
Yeah, I would say it really took off while I was working at that other startup, because it was, I could not have asked for a better experience. And I will tell you that I wasn't sure that was the right job for me, because it was at a time where I was just finishing college and going to be graduating. But I was like, I had been originally thinking I wanted to go work for Google, right? Or one of the other big tech groups. And I was like, debating between, do you want the big company experience and big tech or startup experience? So I was kind of weighing those and I wasn't sure. And I went and met with Chris, who's this other entrepreneur again. And which is funny because I like basically made him convince me that I should take the job. He's like, this is the strangest thing, but he's like, really want you to work here. So like, I can't make you, but I would love for you to take this job. But I'm so glad that I did, because it gave, it gave me the experience and therefore the confidence to be able to do it on my own. And I knew that I wanted to someday. I didn't have a particular idea in mind. I didn't know when, but it gave me that experience that really laid the groundwork to be able to take that entrepreneurial leap.
Absolutely. I love that. What is the biggest shifts? For those, I'm going to put a definition of Shoppable. For those who may not know, which I'd be shocked if you don't know what Shoppable is. But Shoppable, for our audio listeners, is an e-commerce technology company that enables brands, retailers, and publishers to create seamless shopping experiences across various digital platforms. And so that was some nuggets for you guys listening in. And so now my question, being selfish, what are the biggest shifts in consumer behavior that you've observed since launching Shoppable? Is because they say e-commerce is just a trend. I disagree. I think now you see this big movement and the shift because shopping malls are dying off, or we're dying off during COVID. And now there's kind of this push back to, hey, you need to go in store. You need to go physically to that store and try on. What are some big shifts that you've observed in your experience?
Yeah. So what we've seen that convenience really matters, and being able to have, for certain types of products, that shopper wants instant gratification. So if you don't give them instant gratification, allow them to buy it now, like in that moment, in that experience, the abandonment is going to go through the roof, and that shopper will not buy, because consumers don't want to be redirected from one website to another website and having to click through 15 to 20 different clicks to go and purchase a product. And they don't want to have to search and track down where something is available to be bought and who sells XYZ. There's a very, very small percentage of people that are willing to spend, even a few minutes trying to track something down. So you have to make things shoppable. You have to make, you have to limit the clicks on the path to purchase, meaning from the discovery when a consumer first sees a product and when they're able to buy it. So you want to make those as few clicks as possible. Everyone here has probably heard of Amazon's buy button. Their one click checkout that they started, and that was because they really saw how important that instant gratification is and removing clicks from the purchase experience. So when you see something and it's just one product, that buy now button is critical. And the other thing that we've seen that is interesting too is that when shoppers are given the opportunity to purchase from multiple different retailers, when there's a set of products, like when you're looking at home decor and there's items coming from different products or from different retailers, I should say, or you're looking at an outfit. I know you've got style, so you're looking at a particular page where you're looking at a nice outfit and you want to shop the whole look. Prior to Shoppable's technology, anytime you clicked on a piece of that look, you're opening a new tab, you're being redirected, and it's a very clunky experience. There's a lot of friction from it. So what we've seen after we've launched this multi-retailer checkout is that consumers will buy from multiple retailers if you streamline it together. So what that means is you take the style example, you add the jacket to your bag, you add the shoes, you add sunglasses, whatever it is. They might be coming from Saks Fifth Avenue and Bloomingdale's and Ralph Lauren, but all three items can be added to your checkout and you purchase once, meaning you hit Apple Pay once, you type in your email once, that's it. And we're not separating and sending you out to 3 different websites, 3 different journeys. So what that means is that typically that shopper may have only completed one of those journeys if Shoppable's checkout wasn't there. But because of the checkout, we've streamlined it. They only have to go through one purchase experience and they're buying from multiple retailers.
This is huge. Y'all see the think on this lady? Oh my gosh. So Shoppable's universal checkout is a game changer. What was one of the biggest challenges or obstacles you had to overcome in developing it? Because something that has changed the paradigm for perpetuity, I'm going to say it. What was so hard? What was a hard hurdle to overcome?
The hardest, technically speaking, it's not exactly the technical piece, but I would say the hardest piece of creating it was getting the buy-in from the retailers, because what we do did not exist before. So you mentioned at the top of the call, we have 4 US patents on the technology, which we were able to get because this didn't exist. So that's the benefit of it. But the downside is that it was a real challenge to be able to get out of the gate and get our retailer partnerships. And, when you're doing something that has never been done before, you can pretty much assume everybody's going to say no because they're not familiar with it, especially big companies, and Shoppable's like I've kind of laughed throughout like the series of years building the company, because, we're the smaller company and we sit between super giants, like the biggest retailers globally and the biggest advertisers and publishers globally. And we're bringing them together in this experience. But it was not that easy, because every retailer that I reached out to, if they responded to my email, would pretty much say like, oh, we don't operate that way, because they didn't. So then I'd have to find my way to like get another response and convince them on why they should be interested in this and what the opportunity is. And that's, what led me to realizing like, I need to get in front of these people. I can't just be sending emails. I need to be standing in front of them and convincing them that this is where e-commerce is going and you want to be involved. So that was a huge, huge challenge, and one that took quite a bit of maneuvering and strategies to be able to get through.
Why do you think? Because I remember you saying that when you went from California to New York, and you got in front of him, that's when it clicked for them. What about why not the email? Why didn't it click for them with the email? Why didn't it click with the PowerPoint presentation? Why did you have to to shift in order for them to get it, these retailers to get it?
Yeah, I think there's a couple different things that I noticed. One, now this was 10 years ago, but there was, so no one take offense to this, but there was a I noticed there was like a lack of credibility by being in the Bay Area and not being in New York when I wanted to work with retailers and publishers. And there was something when I actually got people on a phone call, to pitch them the idea. They would ask where I was and they were expecting me to say Midtown or Soho or some part of Manhattan. And I was like, San Francisco. And there'd be an audible, oh, okay. I could just feel the conversation shift. And it happened multiple times. So I'm like, what is it? And there was, obviously there were still the big tech companies there, but there weren't a lot of tech and fashion and retail that was like really, really working together. And I mean, there was probably around a time when a lot of the retailers weren't even really embracing social media yet. They kind of weren't sure. So even like the big tech and these companies weren't working all that closely together. So it wasn't like, oh, she's a tech business, so there's credibility for tech in California. It was just like, you're trying to work with us, but you're not here. And so I think that's one of the things. And then the other piece that I've been told is, people tell me all the time, they're like, you're really good at sales. Like when you're in front of someone, like people can just see your passion and understand your vision that much more clearly. So they're like, anytime you can, try to get in front of someone, because that's going to help. And part of getting in front of people, one, it helped me build the relationships, but it also helped me have more time. You have a little bit more time to pitch when you're in person than you're on a Zoom, when people can kind of keep it a little bit shorter. You've made a commitment to take the time to go to their office, things like that. But also part of what I did was, with these big companies, when you have to convince a big company to change and to do something differently, part of it is you have to first convince the individual. So part of my strategy was, once I got in front of a big retailer, if I felt like they were like, they had their corporate hat on, and I felt like they're like, I don't know, we don't operate that way, like, feels too risky and different, and whatever. If I felt that was like the direction they were going, I'd say, can we take off your XYZ retailer hat for a minute? And can I just talk to you as Marcus? And, how do you think about this idea of like e-commerce? And like, haven't you ever had an experience where, dot, dot, dot. And I kind of walk them through it and had them try to think about it from their own experience. And every time they're like, yes, that makes so much sense. I get it. And then I'm like, okay, put that corporate hat back on. And let's partner. So it helped to be in person, to be able to do some of those things.
I love that. I love that. Shoppable has been honored multiple times with multiple Webby Awards. What do you think sets your platform apart from the Shopify's of the world, the other platforms, the Amazons of the world? What do you think it keeps bringing you back to your company Webby to get these Webby Awards? What sets you apart?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that's different about Shoppable is that we have this multi-retailer checkout that can enable people to buy at the point of inspiration. So something like Shopify and Amazon, those are destinations where you go and purchase. Shoppable, we like to say, we bring the checkout to the consumer. So we're creating shoppable experiences in ads, on websites, in content, CTV, streaming that you're probably watching, shoppable ads powered by part of our advertisers and clients. It's all around you, and and that's what's different about Shoppable, is we're really creating this shoppable layer across all forms of digital content.
Absolutely. What role does artificial intelligence play in Shoppable's technology, if at all? If you can
Yeah.
share to that.
It does. I mean, it does in the sense of how we think about our or how we use our catalog. So we have 500 million products from, all the major retailers like Walmart and Target and Ulta, et cetera, Best Buy, their catalogs are integrated into our system. So we think about AI in terms of like, how do you help our customers find the right product out of 500 million? And even if you're searching for headphones, like which headphones are we going to help surface, right? So that's one way that we think about it. And then the other way that we think about it is in terms of like, how else can we add more automations and kind of and using agentic AI to add additional improvements to the shopping experience, to recommendations, to like customer service, things like that. So quite a few places. And then outside of our technology, I mean, we're using it in every thing operationally throughout the day.
Absolutely. What do you have in store? What's next? Can you share any tea there? Any exciting innovations on the horizon? Anything?
Yeah, so some things that I can share. One, we are expanding more and more globally. That's a big thing for us right now. So we're continuing to sign up more retailers in new countries as we're expanding globally there. And then we have some exciting features coming on, some additional promotions and things like that have been a hotly requested feature from a lot of customers, and we're getting that out in advance of the holidays, which, yes, we're talking about the holidays in June because everybody has to plan way in advance. But those are some exciting things that are coming.
This is epic. This is epic. I love this. What legacy, my final question, what legacy do you intend to leave through your great works, through your hard work? What is the legacy? Because it's not about us anymore. You get to a point in business where you realize it's not about me. It's about tomorrow and what we leave behind. So what's the legacy mindset for you?
That's a great question. I mean, I think in terms of the business, I think it's in being able to create something that has added time and convenience to consumers, and something that continues to live on and service these large companies, large and small, I should say. And the other piece is helping other entrepreneurs and kind of the next generation of entrepreneurs build something from nothing too.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. We are out of time. We got to let this incredible, phenomenal woman go. She's changing the world. Many more awards to receive, many more lives to change, and many more corporations and companies to expand globally. You heard it, globally. She's growing. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Heather. Thank you for spending time. Thank you for sharing. And I want to say this to you publicly. Never quit. We need you. We need what you're doing. Thank you. Absolutely. Like we end. Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
Nope. Thank you, Marcus.
Absolutely. Thank you all for tuning into the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. I hope this was informational. I hope this was educational. And I hope this was inspired you to continue to innovate and continue to push forward. You are necessary. You can do it. Ms. Heather did it, and she's doing it for you so you can continue to grow and do better. Like we end every show. Take care of your friends. Take care of your family. And always, take care of business. This is Marcus, your favorite gentleman, and the incredible, super expialidocious Miss Heather Udo, CEO, giving back on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. Love you guys. Bye.